Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And I know that I'm posting this video after really long time, but I sincerely apologize to all of you because could not make the time for making the videos very consistently because during the pandemic I had to travel cross country, then come back and then resume my work and my PhD. It took a lot of my time. Right now I am in the last leg of completing my thesis. So I just got a little bit more time. And I thought that when I could actually make videos much more consistently, that's the right time to again resume back. So today what I'm going to do is maybe we could just look at certain questions that were raised in my previous videos, try to address them, and maybe at the end of the video, I could just give you a couple of options based on which I would make the forthcoming videos, and let me know if of any of your suggestions regarding them. So without any further ado, let's take the first question. The first question is, what are the options of doing full-time and part-time PhD in India? Now, like I said in my previous videos, there are a lot of options that you have. You could do it from either central universities, you could do it from the state universities, you could do it from IIT, IIMs, you could do from autonomous colleges or affiliated to a state university, for an example. So you have so many different options of doing your PhD. What ultimately matters is, of course, your priorities. Like I have already stated in my previous videos that if you feel that you're in a juncture of your life where you cannot afford a full-time PhD because of either financial constraints, or you are, you don't want to leave your job because you have a well-paying job, whatever the situation might be, I think the part-time PhD would work best for you. And for that, you have to look out for universities that offer you part-time positions. Of course, there are different how should I put this, different types of private universities. Some would require a definite coursework for you, for which you have to travel to that particular place where the institution is, complete that, and the rest you do it from a distance. There are others where even that kind of criteria is evaded, but I would strictly suggest you that you refer to the UGC website and find out the colleges which are listed as UGC approved. You need to keep that in mind while you're applying for part-time positions. And generally, these applications would come up in the June, July segment. So a 3 or a 4 month advance prep is recommendatory. So you start seeing the application, you'll start looking at applications somewhere late Jan or early Feb. That would be the timeline based on different universities and their sort of pooling criteria. So that would differ. So you should at least keep a 3 to 4 month window within which you would expect that there would be application forms rolling out. Other than that, I would also suggest you that for these state universities, you should definitely also check out that whether they have any sort of pre-PhD courses, which will definitely help you because the kind of questions that they ask during the entrance exam, it is not only like a common admission test. That's one of the criteria, but sometimes they would also ask you very subjective questions based on your specialization, so the masters that you have done in. So there are certain toolkits which are readily available in many state universities websites. So if you have that, you should check it out. So these are some recommendations as far as state universities are concerned. If you are planning for a full-time position, then I would say that you definitely have to gear up and make some solid preparations if you're trying to aim for an IIT or an IIM or an XLRI, or any those tier 1 institutions where you want to do your full-time PhD, because essentially they have, so you need to have your net cleared for a full-time position. And I think that's also the same criteria for many private institutions. Please check that out. So you need to have your national eligibility test cleared. And So yeah, coming back to the full-time PhD program, I would definitely suggest you that you uh, give give it at least 6 months time for preparing your CAT or your GMAT or your GRE or any sort of other competitive exam qualifying examinations that these different institutions hold, because it's not easy. If you're on the job, then it's not easy to take out time and discipline yourself for every day coming back and doing your work. And I've done it, so I can say that it's definitely not easy. It requires a lot of discipline. But if you feel that no, you would want to go for full-time PhD because it's worth the time and effort, then you should definitely keep this 6 months time before you even start thinking of applying anywhere. um, for full-time positions, like I said, that you could just refer to the website of these. You can find out the list of colleges, MBA colleges, from easily from Google website, and then just go to their websites and check their eligibility criteria. NET is a qualifying criteria. You have to clear the CAT scores, and then of course the interview round is very different. Interview typically has a lot of subjective questions. They would send you something like an article, and they would ask you to critically review it. So there's a lot of other things that goes into while you have qualified the interview round. Maybe a separate video is required for giving you certain quick tricks or tactics how to handle interview questions related to PhD. For your CVs, I think that if you are in the academic field, that's good, because I don't say that that gives you an edge. Of course, it depends on your suitability with the program. It also depends how you answer the questions. It depends on your so many other things. But if you are from academics, it gives you a slight edge in terms of you already having a fair idea about how an academic setup works. Maybe you've also had the experience of teaching graduate students, so that is how it might be a little bit different from somebody having a very professional sort of experience. So if you are in academia by any chance, then I would suggest that you try to publish some articles, even if it's not like an ABDC list, but you need to be able to demonstrate that you're interested in research. And if you're in academics, and if you are into academics, and if you don't have any op-eds or any articles or anything that you have published, that will not demonstrate a very good opinion about how keen you are into doing research. So that is a kind of a CV development tip that I would want to give you. For professionals, I think that, of course, if you can relate your work experience and why do you want to make this shift in your SOP, I think then you got the game. But for professionals, I think it's very subjective. It depends upon the area that you've applied, what kind of researcher they are looking for, what is that they find in you. So I cannot give you any sort of checklist that you need to do if you are coming from the industry. The second question that I have received is demonstrating a research gap necessary in your PhD project? Well, no, definitely not. You don't have to find a research gap. Most often, we don't sort of mandatorily have to have a research gap that we need to address. It's always an incremental progress. So, for example, you find that your question is being addressed looking at certain literatures in the past which have not looked at certain frameworks which you want to integrate and probably bring in a nuanced understanding of your phenomenon. So that's how you sort of try to address and sort of try to bring in something new. Not necessarily that it is a gap. You're just trying to bring in certain other concepts and trying to see it from a new lens. That's how it is. Even in my research, I'm looking at environmental impact assessment regulation in India. So I don't show that there's a potential gap. I just say that there are certain areas in which the research is very limited, and this is what the limitation is. And therefore, if I bring in this particular framework, then I'm able to see it from a new lens, and that's how I'm making my point. So that's all you have to do. But I think these are questions that we can address later on. This is really when you've got through your PhD and you've finished your coursework and you're just at this proposal making stage. So it's a long process. Okay, and another interesting question is age a factor? No, definitely not. Age is definitely not a factor. There's no age in terms of doing a PhD. If you sincerely feel that you have this hunger for doing good research, and you're not looking at from an instrumental perspective, then I think that age is no bar. But if your idea about doing a PhD is that you just want to go up the academic ladder, then I would suggest that you maintain the clock of tenureship of moving from assistant to associate to professor. So you see the timeline and then accordingly you apply for your PhD. At what age do you want to become a professor, assistant professor? At what age you want to become an associate? And likewise back calculate that, okay, then this is the right age for me for applying for a part-time PhD position or whatever. So I don't think that age is absolutely a factor. It is all in your mind. Fees for state universities for part-time, again, it depends. Some universities, they have a fee which is like goes above a lakh. Initially, the initial fee that you have to give, and then there's also a breakup semester-wise during the coursework or at the end of the second year or third year, likewise. So there could be different criterias. State universities have a lower cap. For IIMs and IITs, it's typically, I think, within 50,000, you just have to pay an initial fee, and that's also refundable after you complete your coursework or you've finished your proposal. So it really depends. The fee is different in different institutions. So there's no standardized fee for private versus the state or IIT, IIMs, and all of this. So I think, yeah, these were the typical questions that were asked. And so I think that the next video, it would be useful to discuss something about, related to questions about research proposals. Like I see that there have been a lot of questions specifically related to research methods, gaps, mixed methods and all. So maybe a video on that I will post as soon as I can. So I just hope that this was useful, and I'll see you again in my next video, hopefully with some good content, and keep yourself motivated to do good research. Keep yourself motivated to learn. Keep yourself motivated to have that urge within you to do well in life. And with that note, I will end this video. Have a good day.